Difficult times ahead for some EV players as government has tightened scrutiny. Reportedly, the government has suspended FAME subsidies for at least two-wheeler companies on allegations of misappropriation of funds. Reportedly, the centre has also stepped up its probe against other EV manufacturers as well, at least 12 of them, including Greaves Electric Mobility, Kinetic Green Energy, etc. But what is this FAME scheme and what are the key allegations against some EV makers? While the 10,000 crore rupee FAME of faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicle scheme gives subsidy support to EV makers to meet the government's target for clean mobility, is now in its second phase as well. The scheme was redesigned in June 2021 and was extended until March 2024 after consultations with industry leaders. For what? Well, to incentivize demand for EVs via subsidies, to push for local innovation and grow India's manufacturing program. At present, support is being given to 2 million electric wheelers, 5 lakh electric three-wheelers, 55,000 electric four-wheelers and over 7,000 electric buses via subsidies, so that India could reach its aim of 100% electrification by 2028. The subsidy scheme works in a simple fashion. Incentives are provided to buyers of electric vehicles through an upfront reduction in the purchase price of EVs, which were to be reimbursed later from the government. However, now the government's keen on rolling it back. You ask why? Well, because some brands have allegedly flouted the qualification criteria. According to the criteria, EV original equipment manufacturers or OEMs must demonstrate that at least 50% of the components of their vehicles are manufactured in India. These components should also be locally sourced, and which is where some violations have been observed with respect to the components factor primarily. The government is claiming that some auto parts like the motor controller, battery management system, etc., which was supposed to be locally produced, were in fact imported and subsidy was still claimed. The procurement of parts by some EV brands happened via a complex web of companies, according to some people in the knowledge who we've spoken to. Now, these people procured these components from foreign companies on behalf of these OEMs. Secondly, reportedly, some EV makers sold off chargers and software separately to comply with the 1.5 lakh price cap to avail of these government subsidies. Subsidies were paused in May 2002, remember, and in December, the Ministry of Heavy Industries said that it had received complaints against these 12 companies, but later on, these were released after these complaints proved their compliance to the scheme. Next up, what now, according to government reports, government seems to be dissatisfied with the outcomes of this FAME scheme. An ET report claims that the FAME 2 scheme may be discontinued after the next fiscal year. The Federation of Automobile Manufacturers, in fact, claims that the crackdown has already led to dipping sales of two key players that have been barred from receiving the subsidy unless they submit the compliance documents. So what's next? Well, EV makers whose subsidies have been withheld are likely to challenge the government and are seeking legal opinion on the matter. But till then, expect the price burden to fall on users like you and I.